Alright, so this is just a somewhat of a little bit of video to what I went over today, or today earlier in the space. So this is Vast AI. Right now we're on the template screen, right? So there's a bunch of different templates that you have. This is Morgan, by the way. She's a mute. So this is like the different templates you can use for the virtual machine that you're going to be using. So what a template is pretty much comes with a series of programs and packages already installed. Now the one I like to use is PyTorch with PyTorch and Vast. You might have there's better ones for certain use cases, but to me I just prefer PyTorch and Vast. And so you have a bunch of like different things within PyTorch, right? So right here, you have your template, right? Or whatever. You can see which one is selected on the top left. And you go to edit, and you're going to see a bunch of ports and stuff like that. That's going to come in later. And it's okay to have the ones right now. You can change them if you want, but it doesn't really matter. You can just create a different one in the next screen after you run your machine. So what was I looking for? Awesome. So you have different things that you can use. I prefer interactive shell and SSH. Some people like Jupyter Python, but I'm kind of more old school, and so I use interactive shells. So that's kind of what we're going to use. So after you kind of set some things up like defaults and stuff like that, you're just going to select create and use. It doesn't matter about creating a public template. It's whatever. So. And now one of the things you're going to want to change immediately is container size. Otherwise, you're going to have to destroy the instance and recreate this step. And so you're going to increase it to about 200 gigs. It's going to increase the price of, I'll do 315 just for grins and giggle. It's going to increase the price of the GPU you're going to be renting, but it doesn't really matter. To be honest, and we have a bunch of GPUs selected that you can use. This is like the basic, upload and download speed you're gonna want. I get higher ones because it takes some time sometimes for you to download the models. And when you're downloading something that's 30 gigs or 20 gigs, you hate waiting. That's pretty much the longest part, right? And so you're kind of also going to look at you have Planet Earth up here, so you can select North America, whatever. But you find some good deals outside of the United States, outside of North America, just because costs are cheaper around. But I've run into a few problems, literally like a fake instance. It's not really fake, but something's already running on it on the host side. And so I've only run into that with outside models, and only a few times. It's personal preference is usually North America, but I've gone outside to get a good deal. And so for this one, it's about 30 cents cheaper than in North America, right? So if you go to North America, oh wow, there's one really cheap in British Columbia, 48 cents an hour, pretty much. And so this is be an hour of per use. And again, it's still 800 megabytes up. It's 700 megabits. My bad. Megabits up and down. For grins and giggles, I'm just gonna do. Oh, I don't want to just set up Jupyter. I changed that. Yeah. It's just being stupid. Okay, there we go. Oh, sweet. Oh shit, I rented 4 on accident. I'm gonna go back and redo that. Destroy and destroy. Okay. Okay, there we go. So To go over a few things, this is the lifetime of the server of the GPU remaining. So there's 23 days remaining that you're able to rent it out. And so that's it's pretty good. A lot of these times you don't really use these for storage, and sometimes it's not really meant to like rent long term, but you can use it to rent long term. Just because it is cheaper than renting or buying one, and overall it's cheaper than renting from other places. It's a lot cheaper. You might be able to find different places and stuff like that. Again, Vast AI is just my personal preference. Just because for me it's one of the easier to use, just for the stuff I use it for and what I'm used to. So yeah. And so right now, right here, yep, let's see if it's started yet. It's still connecting, whatnot. I'm gonna log into. I need to log into my Arch system so I can make the SSH key. I guess it's, or at least use my old one if it's still connected. Let's see if it's still. Oh yeah. It's still used. I could still. I'm just gonna have to switch to my Arch build. And I'll show you a bit of that. This is just kind of go over. I'm gonna get a video of some of the stuff I went to. Right now I'm on my Windows PC. If you haven't noticed. That's the cut and dry of Arch for the most part. When you want to stop your instance, you can stop it. You still have storage fees you're gonna have to pay, which is like $1 or $2 a day, just to not delete your data. If they do delete it before you want to, or you still have it, Vast AI will usually give you a refund, but they're iffy on that. So just be mindful of it, and know that it does charge you every day if you're not actively using it. For 40 cents an hour, it's like a little less than $12 a day. 70, 80 bucks a week, 90, something like that. And so you can also rent multiple at a time, like you can select 2, 4, and 8. And if you do video, you're gonna want 4 or 8. Just because the speed, it goes from like 15 minutes, half an hour to like 5. Especially if you're an 8. And it's like 720 and 1080p. That's what you're gonna want. Yeah. And so that's Vast AI. So I'll go over some of the definitions from earlier. So LLM stands for large language model. When you say AI, that's what AI is a large language model, or LLM for short. And it's just to denote like whatever AI you're using. Some people use model or whatever, but LLMs, yeah. What are the other ones? Let me look at. I think Neuro was set a few, and I'll just give a quick cut and dry of those. Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay, so SSH key is pretty much a key. It's an encryption key that's shared between two PCs, or a virtual instance or whatever. It's saved on both, and it's just kind of an encryption key that says, "Yep, you're allowed in." And they're pretty hard to break. It is depending on the length and whatnot. When you go in, you can actually copy paste and put it inside of Vast AI. Let's see, LLM. Let's see if I can go over some of the other ones. So this is PyCharm, which I'm going to go through the setup of Arch. It's going to take the longest. Is going to take, I think, it is Arch setup. And so this is my Arch setup. I'm unsure if I have it on this PC. I'll have to. I don't think I have it saved on here. It is not on this one, but it might be on. Yeah. I'll go over that. I'll have to put OBS software on my Arch for the next video. Because a lot of my stuff, my projects are saved on Arch or just on Arch because that's my dev PC. Going over Arch, Arch is a pretty versatile operating system. Like I said, it only puts exactly what you want on there. So you choose what's installed on there. And so I'll go over like a little bit of ring systems. It's kind of like more like I don't want to say esoteric knowledge. Not a lot of people know about ring systems. I just go Arch, yay! So ring systems are pretty much ring levels. Are pretty much what's between you and the hardware, right? Like Windows is like a Ring 5 operating system, and so there's a lot of protections from the user blowing something up, right? Or like causing damage or whatnot. It won't let you do certain things and blow it up. Arch, I think it's like a Ring 2 or Ring 3. There are still some protections, but it'll do whatever you want. If you ask it to do it, it'll do it. And there's ways just to make it do stuff. You have some like Ring 0 operating systems like Temple OS where you can literally cause like you literally just wreck the hardware of your PC. And so I use Arch for AI stuff and deving just because you get a little bit more bang for your buck usually. It's a lot faster to respond. It's just easier for me. And with Arch, you can have a bunch of different desktop backgrounds. Like with Windows or iOS, you just have one. It looks like Windows or it looks like iOS. So you can change it and stuff like that. But there's a whole bunch of different ones. Like, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna pull up a video right quick. So it's pretty much Arch desktop environments. And here's one of where a guy installed everything, and kind of did everything for you. And so you can kind of look at what the different ones are. There's one. Yeah, there we go. The tier list. And I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna post that for everyone on my Twitter, or Max account, so everyone kind of knows what they're getting into beforehand, just a little prerequisite knowledge, and whatnot. And so also you should download a USB tool called Rufus. I just like Rufus, and so when you install the Arch on the USB drive, you want to use something like Rufus. Other people might have different tools, but I've used Rufus for years and years and years. It's just small, quick, and easy to do. It has never failed me. And so you can obviously install like Arch on a USB drive in other ways, right? You can even install Arch on a portable hard drive, and unplug it and take it around with you, with persistence. So when you have saved memory, it's called with persistence. What else did I miss? Yeah. And so Arch is just super easy to use once you get the install done. And a lot of people, if you use Arch, it's kind of a meme to say, I use Arch, to make it a point. No, I use Arch. All right, I use Arch. I have culture. And if you use Ubuntu or something like that, it's cool, whatever. You know what I mean? But just because it's kind of like the Windows of Linux, it's super user friendly, and there's no issue with Ubuntu. But it's just, I don't know. Is after a certain point you're like, yeah, I just like Arch, just like Arch. Because there's something called dependency hell. So dependency hell is with Ubuntu, right? So you install a package, that package needs other packages to work, right? They're called dependencies, right? Problem is those dependencies need dependencies, and then those dependencies need dependencies, and then sometimes those dependencies need dependencies, and you can sit there for like 2, 3, 4 hours just installing shit, and it gets really annoying. And with with Arch, you have a package manager called Pacman, and it does all that for you, right? Usually, sometimes you run into one that's not. It's called AUR, Arch User Repository, and so it's a bunch of Arch packages for a lot of popular tools like OBS software, Spotify, stuff like Spotify. I think is native. And there's going to be a web browser I'm going to introduce you to called Chromium. You can use Chrome, that exists too, but Chromium just has a lot of the a lot more privacy features compared to let's say Chrome. But at the same time, it's harder to use than Chrome, just because it doesn't have the services naturally installed. Let's see. Some more of a primer. It's always useful to have like a list of simple commands, and you can't forget your password. Don't forget your password, especially on Arch. When you log in, when you log in to do any admin features, you got to put in your password, right? When you start your PC, you have to put in your password, your admin password, which is separate than your login password, to access your password wallet. So technically, there's 2 different passwords you're gonna have to remember when you set everything up. It's just kind of more secure, and so if you get it wrong, it logs you out of everything. And so you're just like, you're used to this auto sign-on stuff, but you have to, as long as you log into your email, you'll be fine. And then you get auto log into some stuff with Google. But it's just more of a pain in the butt if you get your passwords wrong, but it's a lot more secure. I'm not sure about wallets and stuff on Arch. Like I use First Ledger and stuff like that, so for the most part, it's just handled on First Ledger side. And my Phantom and stuff and everything is on my Windows, and my other wallets are on Windows. So it's just, you can't hack something if it's not on, right? It's kind of easier in that regards. And I'm not saying Arch is unhackable. It's just people aren't used to Arch, and so it's a lot more secure that way too. Because people, well, let's say you fall for a phishing link, it's not set up for Arch, right? And so what else did I go over? But yeah, it's also it's always good to have a list of simple commands. I have my this is kind of has a bunch of this isn't a shell or anything, but I use this less and less. But this, like a book like this, will have a bunch of commands built in, so you can just, if you're ever stuck, you can just Google it. But it has a lot of stuff. Like I have my the Linux, one of the Linux pages bookmarked. That's just for the internet stuff. And it goes over I shouldn't talk about that. Anyways, it goes over a bunch of good tricks and stuff for Linux, like SQL and a bunch of other stuff. So just Operator's Handbook, search, copy, paste, delete. It's come in handy more than a few times. But for the most part, it's the perfect size. My monitor to sit on. I have 3 monitors set up. So I use it for that too. So I feel a little guilty about that. But you know what I mean? Books, I always have more than one use. Remember that. Go over different things, right? So a 5090 is the latest NVIDIA graphics card, right? It doesn't have as much VRAM. VRAM, I need to explain that. So this is your VRAM size, which pretty much means is the amount of RAM that can fit on the GPU, right? Not that can, it's on the GPU, right? So you're kind of limited. Sometimes you only have like one 5090, you're limited to 32 gigs. If you have four 5090s, you can do what's called sharding, which splits everything up. No, wait, I'm not sharding up. It'll spread the workload across four GPUs or eight GPUs, whatever you have. And I think you could split the models between GPUs as well, but I'm unsure of that. I've never actually had to do that. Another popular graphics card are the data center graphics cards, which is the A100, B200, H100, and H200. So H100 is pretty good. I don't use the A100. B200 I also don't really use that much. They're harder to find. And we'll go back to one just so you get the better. Yep, they're harder to find, so I really haven't used them. I use a lot of times I use H100s, which has 80 gigs of VRAM, as well as, where did that go? The H200. They're kind of more expensive, like $2 an hour, right? And you're like, do I really want to spend this for $2 an hour? If you have a very large language model, yeah, you would, right? 140 gigs, you can do whatever you want with that. You can load anything. However, you see the teraflops on the side? That's the number of how much processing power you have, right? It's only 53 teraflops. And so that kind of limits how fast something can be processed or inference can run. So we're going to compare that to the 5090 right quick. I don't want to do the 5080s. And so you see 159 has 114 teraflops, right? So anyways, you have more processing power for the most part. It's teraflops a second, my bad. Yeah. It's just the enterprise graphics cards are to run large loads, but it runs them slower, right? And so you can go a lot faster with four 5090s, or heck, even one 5090. There are some people who it can be argued. It can be argued. I'm gonna get people. Anyways, and so it overall. It's cheaper, 38 cents an hour, but it's from 204 megabits a second. I don't like that. So it's also, so if you look at the price of two, we'll do four just to get it up. So you have four an hour, and so you have four different 5090s. And that's about $2 an hour, or $1.95 an hour, right? To rent. And if you just do that with 8100s, actually, wait, no, I have to take out the RTX. No. And so, you see what I mean? It's cheaper to run a bunch of 5090s than 4 H100s, even though some people go, H100, it's the best, but for generative AI, video and pictures, is 5090s are where it's at right now, especially when they come out with the 6000 series, which is going to have more VRAM than this. And so pretty much it's just your workload is loaded onto the VRAM. Can't explain what that was. And so to cap it, you're going to want to install an IDE, or which is your programming environment. Other people use different stuff. I just like PyCharm just because I've used it for a long time, and I just prefer PyCharm over others. I've used Spider a bit for graphing and stuff like that. But I prefer PyCharm just because there's a community edition, which is free, and then there's professional edition, which I use and I pay for. which has a bunch of different cool stuff with it. It does have an AI assistant to finish what you're typing, so you don't have to type out the whole thing. And I hate typing. I absolutely hate typing. I don't know why, but I fucking hate it. And so to have something where you just hit tab to finish what you're saying, is pretty cool. Because it can kind of guess, and so it makes things go a lot quicker. What other stuff? So Rufus, USB, the video for the desktop environments for Arch, and PyCharm, and so that should go over a lot of stuff. And also tomorrow I'm gonna do it step by step for everything. And so hopefully this helps. And if there's any questions, I'll hands down make a side video for this. All right, peace out, guys.